Hey there, if you're listening to this podcast right now, you're probably into cryptids and monsters. Well, if you have a creative spark, you can always join us in our first ever Supernatural Selection zine project. For 2024, we are doing cryptid encounters, where you can draw or write a encounter with a cryptid of your choice, and we'll put it in the zine. The current submission window is from early January to late June. If you're interested in finding out more, you can always go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/zines. That is ZINES. Now back to the show.
Hey, who's your favorite Glub Shitto?
Honestly, probably the OG Glub Shitto, the guy who went to reconsider his life after Obi-Wan told him.
Oh, the Death Sticks kid?
Yeah, that's Glub Shitto, right?
Well, no, maybe. I don't know. He was Mouse from the Matrix.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, Mike, who's your favorite Glub Shitto?
I don't know.
Is it the ice cream guy?
No.
Will Rod Hood.
My favorite.
I know his name.
What's his name again?
Will Rod Hood.
Will Rod Hood. Yeah, there's a running of the hoods at some conventions where it's just people dressed like him with ice cream makers running through the street.
Every background character doesn't need a fucking name and a backstory.
It got so bad they gave that object a name and then made that name canon in The Mandalorian.
Well,
the
I know. But look, my favorite is Hammerhead because he was the first Star Wars figure I ever had. My dad got him because it was the only one they had at the store.
That was a sick-ass toy. I had a Hammerhead as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't have the scarf, but I liked Hammerhead.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, this is the Distraction Hole. We're clearly distracted right off the bat. This is a show where we talk about the things that distract us each week. We've not done this for, a couple of weeks now, so I'm sure we've got a lot to talk about.
We missed a week.
Yeah, okay. So, first of all, how you guys doing? How you doing, Mike?
I'm fine. Just, I don't know. Just here.
You're Mike.
Vibing, existing.
Yeah.
No, in my lane and moisturized.
Yeah, I feel it. Like, sometimes just existing feels really nice. Like, I didn't do much yesterday, and I am not regretting that. How about you, Kevin? How are you feeling?
You know what? I'm mad at George Norrie right now.
Oh, no.
I was listening.
Georgie.
I tried to listen to Coast to Coast AM earlier because, that's my thing. And George had a vampire on. And I was thinking about... Yeah, well, it's a dude that said he's a vampire.
Oh, yeah,
and I'm
of
like,
course.
okay, if this were Art Bell, he'd be like, tell me about your coven. Tell me about... Is it real blood that you use? Tell me... Enlighten me. He'd go into all that sort of stuff. George Norrie's very first question. Now, vampires, that's spelled VAMPIORE or YRE?
I mean, that is a legitimate question.
Yeah, but then he goes into, are we going to have a Halloween this year? And I'm like, shut the fuck up.
We really do need to do like a coast to coast, like greatest hits episode, or just like a history of coast to coast, because we've talked. Yeah,
we're gonna do an Art Bell / coast to coast episode at some point, because I mean, goddamn.
I'm sure we can play some of those recordings too. Like there's got to be a way to do that.
Saying that when you get big enough so Kevin can take over for George Norrie when he inevitably
dies with a pork chop in one of his friggin' arteries.
God damn, that would be amazing. Like, Kevin, you would be so fantastic on Coast to Coast.
Yeah, you see, I like to think I'd be the affable host. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know. It's just funny listening to it and, like, getting really pissed off at George asking the most stupid questions I've ever heard in my fucking life.
I mean, the vampire question is legitimate because those are two different types of vampires. There's the kind that are just vampires and other kinds that are assholes about it.
I think it shouldn't be your first question.
No, I think
first
it should
question,
be the first question because that sets the tone. Do you have a
No, I
person
think-
who's beat like a vampire, or do you have a person who's like being an asshole about it? That's it.
No, the first question that's really going to set the tone for the episode and that's going to really get people tuning in is, am I safe to interview you?
God damn it.
Like, seriously, man, I'd tune in if the first thing I hear is we have a vampire on the show tonight. Am I safe right now?
Oh, man. All right.
Yeah.
So, we're going to do our episode this week. I've already decided on a turn order because inevitably we always end up arguing about who goes.
And
So-
you're the antithesis of Mike, apparently.
Yes. I'm very anal retentive. So,
Let's go with that anal thing.
anal. So, I decided I wanted to go first.
Okay.
So, I do have a lot of stuff I can talk about, but I kind of limited myself to two things. So the first thing was, today was the Xbox showcase.
Oh, was it?
Yes. I used to spend around this time every, year waiting for E3.
Oh, yeah.
Because that was the
Yeah.
thing. It was like, okay, June's coming around. It's E3, time for all those shows and everything like that. Now everything's all spread out because, they're all doing their own little presentations. But,
there's the internet, so you don't need one big central, show.
And it's the only one I've watched so far was this Xbox one because I have an Xbox Series X. But I was quite impressed, like the amount of stuff and how much stuff I'll actually be able to play because, gaming is like really fucking expensive.
Uh-huh.
And I am very thankful for Game Pass in that regard.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff that I probably would never buy, but I would want to play. Just because, like, I can't justify the cost of it, but, since I'm already paying, like, the $16 a month for Game Pass, it's like, okay, yeah, I'll delete a game off of my hard drive to install this one and play it for a little bit, because that's what I've been doing. So, I just kind of want to roll over some of the things that I saw that were pretty interesting.
Yeah. So you say that about the hard drive
Yeah.
thing, and it makes me feel guilty because I at one point found wasn't a great deal. I bought a like 2 terabyte solid state drive, and I was like, hey, I'll use this as my game drive. And then like and it was like on a Black Friday sale or something.
Yeah.
And a couple days later, there was an even better sale on the exact same hard drive. So I bought another one. So I have 4 terabytes of game storage. So I literally never uninstall games.
Oh, I am not so fortunate. Like, I just have the base. I bought the biggest Series X I could, and I don't even know how much is on there.
Well, I mean, this is my computer, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
I have a fair amount of games installed on there right now. It's very rare that I have to. It depends on the game, but it's very rare that
That's
I have
just
to
my
delete
biggest.
something.
It's my biggest pet peeve, or a very big pet peeve. It's like, it's like when I want to install a new game, then I have to uninstall something, so I have to decide which one, and inevitably I'll decide, I haven't played this one, I'll uninstall it, and then like 1 or 2 months later, it's like, I want to play that game. Damn it, I uninstalled it. Now I got to uninstall something else to install the game I had uninstalled to install the game I had installed before.
Well, I mean, with me, it's not as bad because like I go for a game really hard for a couple months, and then it's like, okay, I can always come back to this another time. It's not a big deal. The other thing is, a lot of this stuff is like cloud streaming, and I've had no issues with cloud streaming aside from like some temporary screen tearing here and there. Like I'm doing Sea of Thieves right now.
I'm really glad for you on that.
It's also less of a problem with like cloud saves, so you don't have to worry about your save file going away when you uninstall a game.
Yeah, because I was doing Sea of Thieves, and it's fun. I'm not super into it. I think that the sailing mechanic is a little complicated. I keep crashing my boat because I can't like move quickly enough between the stations. I don't know the ship layout enough. But like I had no issues with performance on it. The only game that I played where I had like significant performance things, and that's literally just the screen tearing occasionally, was Fallout 76. and I ended up installing that, and I don't even have that anymore. But like I really appreciate this. Is like my first big boy console. You know what I mean? Because I've always been like a Nintendo guy. I don't always
Right.
get the Nintendo. They're not the technical powerhouses. They don't get like the big multi-platform franchises and that sort of thing. Like my PS4, I got like several years into the run of the system. You know what I mean? So this is like my first like, oh, this is a current gen system in a long time. And it's been nice. It's been nice. No complaints. I'm fucking loving Game Pass and shit. I'm playing more games than I ever have, which is nice. But yeah, so the Xbox conference or the presentation, Xbox Direct, whatever you want to fucking call it, pretty good. Like I was surprised by the number of games. A lot of like similarities between a lot of stuff, because those are just the big hot genres. Like a lot of Souls-likes right now. Souls-likes are huge at the moment. But I just kind of want to run down a list of some of the stuff that I saw and see what you guys think.
Sure.
So, you guys fans of Doom?
The original.
A little bit.
Not the new one so much, but the original for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, there is a new Doom game coming out called Doom: The Dark Ages.
That's what I heard about this.
I hadn't heard about it.
You should check out the trailer. It's pretty dope. The Doom Slayer gets a chainsaw shield that he could throw around like Captain America.
You had me at shield.
I think you're bearing the lead here. Where tell them when it like the setting.
Yeah, tell me.
Oh, so here's the thing. It's Doom, so there's this combination of gothic medievalism with sci-fi stuff.
Yeah.
This is leaning a little bit more towards gothic medievalism, but there's still a bunch of sci-fi gobbledygook going on.
You just described Warhammer 40,000.
Yeah.
Well, the way it was described to me when I heard it was basically medieval Doom.
But here's the thing: he's still running around with a fucking shotgun. Like it.
Oh, okay.
You know, maybe it's Army of Darkness or something. I don't know.
Oh, I hope so.
Like, if you get a chance, look at the trailer, because like the thing is, I've played the more recent Doom games, and like they're fun. Like I really enjoy the kind of pacing of it, the way that the gameplay is designed. It's you need to move constantly and kill shit constantly because that's how you regenerate.
I played Doom, but not Eternal.
I've aired my complaints about the game on this show several times.
Yeah, absolutely. But like it looks legitimately fun. Like it's got that like the trailer's great. I always get hyped up for the Doom trailer because it's Doom Slayer just fucking wrecking shit. Like,
yeah, I mean, I love the trailers.
You know, you got the metal music going and like things are exploding. At one point, he shoves a skull into like a grinding machine and it fires bone shards at shit.
That sounds like the junk jet from Fallout.
Yeah, it's
but bone.
The bone.
The bone
Slayer.
ballista.
Yeah. But like it looks like it's just going to be kind of like the Doom Slayer. It like he even has like a furry cape. Like he's got.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so and he's still wearing like the modern kind of Doom Slayer Space Marine type armor, but he's got a fucking cape and he's got a shield and he's probably going to get a big fucking flaming sword at some point.
I'm looking at the picture with the cape. I'm kind of down for this as far as the aesthetic goes.
Yeah, like it's one of those where it's like day one Game Pass, and it's like fuck yeah, I will play that. I will give it a try.
Yeah.
And like 90% of the stuff that they mentioned is like day one on Game Pass, which like makes me happy because like I'm paying that money every month, and like I'm not running out of shit to play. So, you know, Doom: The Dark Ages looks like a lot of fun. Next on my list was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Now...
Oh, yeah, no, I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, so yeah, I definitely would suggest, you know, checking out the trailers for all of these, because I'm very curious about what you guys think over the next week. Like, what do you think about what I've kind of highlighted here? But, yeah, Indiana Jones looks really good. I don't know who's doing the voice of Indiana Jones in this one, but he's
I looked it up. I need to find out. Hang on.
He's a pretty decent sound-alike for Harrison Ford. But yeah, like it looks like it has all those big set pieces. Although I am kind of worried about member berries.
Oh shit! It's Troy Baker.
Okay, there we go. Like they did show a scene with him like looking up at the ball from Raiders.
Yeah.
And it's like, are we getting like a flashback or is it like a tutorial prologue or something? I don't know. But I am a little like it has the Indiana Jones vibe, obviously, but I'm just worried that it's going to lean too hard on the, nostalgia elements. But
Yeah,
like,
and if you don't,
Yeah.
sorry, I was just gonna say, if you don't know, Troy Baker has voiced a lot of people, including Joel from The Last of Us.
Mhm.
So yeah,
and in the game even has Marcus Brody in it.
yeah, I saw that.
Like I missed
I'm
Marcus
excited.
Brody as a character. Like
Yeah, no, same here.
I mean, it's not going to be the same without Denholm Elliott, but like, still, awesome.
Yeah,
Now I just don't know how this is going to play compared to some other Bethesda franchises. Like we've all played the template, like Fallout, Starfield, Skyrim sort of thing. I know that this isn't going to be it, but
I seriously think this is just Tomb Raider, but licensed Indiana Jones.
which sounds fine to me. I'm here for it. The characters seem pretty interesting. Like the Nazi that they've added to this one has a very interesting moment where he's kind of making fun of Americans and cartoons and he starts making choo-choo noises. It was a little like out of pocket, weird, but like in a good way. He's like a quirky Nazi. Which you kind of need in an Indiana Jones story. You always have to have that kind of like weird, heightened Nazi character. So,
Right.
But is that one you guys are interested in playing? Indiana Jones?
Yes, I am. Mike?
I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I haven't really heard much about it, so
Oh, you should check out the trailer.
Yeah, that first trailer, they did that thing that I like in trailers where like you have the iconic theme of the song and they sync the actions to the theme.
You're talking about the punch, aren't you?
Yes, the punches and the punches.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, exactly. Like I eat that shit up. That's fun.
Yep.
Okay, so this one was one that I've been waiting years on to hear about, and I finally got gameplay footage, and that is Perfect Dark. Now, did you gentlemen ever play Perfect Dark for the 64?
No.
I can't tell you how many hours I wasted on Perfect Dark.
I think my N64 was stolen, and before that Perfect Dark came out, I played a lot of like GoldenEye, which was by the same developer, right?
Yeah, Rare.
Rare.
And like,
And
GoldenEye was fun, but like Perfect Dark, like gameplay wise and multiplayer wise, just kind of like blows it away.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but
I just looked it up. I recognize the character.
Yeah.
But yeah, just by the time Perfect Dark came out, I did not have an N64. Kevin did, but I don't think he was interested in that type of game.
Not really. Not on the N64.
Well, here's the thing. Like, if you ever get a chance to like replay it by like, I don't know, emulating it or something like that, Kevin, you would really enjoy it because it's kind of like media that fits in with the context of the show.
Right.
It's got that gray named Elvis, who wears like an American vest and everything like that. It's fantastic.
You're shitting me.
Yes. You go to Area 51, and there is a gray named Elvis. And at one point, in one of the final missions, he's wearing like a button-up vest, but it's like American flag themed.
Good God.
It's fucking dope as hell. And the major antagonistic force is like the tall whites.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. So it starts off as like a future spy thing, but it's like, no, there's aliens and shit. It's great.
I'm looking at Elvis right now. What the fuck?
Isn't that great? Isn't that fantastic?
That is certainly a thing that I was not expecting. Okay.
So I never played the two sequels that they made on the, I think it was the Xbox 360. Like it just seemed like they weren't all that great. Never played them. Nobody really talks about them. But this one is being developed by Crystal Dynamics and the Initiative, And
That's the same guys that did the recent Tomb Raiders.
and the gameplay is really interesting. Like, as someone who's played like the first Perfect Dark, there's some story stuff in there that I'm curious about. But gameplay wise, it looks like a lot of fun. It reminds me of Mirror's Edge in certain parts, and I love Mirror Edge.
You know who wrote that? The first Mirror's Edge. Brianna is it Brianna or Rihanna? Terry Pratchett's daughter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the author of Discworld.
Oh, wow.
That's his
awesome.
daughter.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a fun game, man. I actually have that installed through Game Pass right now because I'm still playing through it. So Perfect Dark looked good. I just got like a few more to mention here. One trailer that I suggest you take a look at is for South of Midnight, which is this kind of like bayou set magical adventure game. At one point, the main character is riding on top of a giant catfish that talks, and they encounter a giant gator who has like an island growing on his back. It's pretty interesting.
And what's this called again?
South of Midnight. And the music's great. It's kind of got that like southern thing going on. It's definitely hitting like that magical, like realism kind of thing. There is also a new mech series called Mecha Break that is basically just Macross because you're going from like jets to mechs, and that looked pretty legit.
Actually, I saw early stuff of South of Midnight back during a previous gaming thing. Film Gauge showed it to me.
Yeah, it definitely has like the CG, I guess the video sequences, cutscenes. I'm sorry, I forgot the term for that.
Yeah, cutscenes.
It kind of has that low frame rate, kind of like claymation quality to it, which is like super interesting. I think that's cool, and that's not the only game I saw this morning that had that. But the gameplay doesn't do that, and it's throwing me off. Like, I kind of hope they... And I know, like, asking for a lower frame rate on gameplay probably sounds ridiculous, but I kind of want, like... I hope they do, like, a low frame rate version, just kind of maintain the parity between the cutscene and the playable elements, because I really like the way it's animated. Because it definitely has that kind of, like, Leica Studios... frame rate,
like Spider-Verse kind of frame rate.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
Mike, you've got thoughts on that kind of frame rate, don't you?
I it bugs me a bit. Just, I want all the frames. It's like, I don't want 3 frames per second.
Well,
I gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that, but I think like I don't notice anything after like 24 frames. I just legitimately do not.
Yeah, my eyesight's so bad.
I mean, it's not really your eyesight. It's all about your brain.
Well, my brain's real dumb.
You're also never used anything higher frame rate than, your monitor. So it's all about smoothness, not necessarily that you notice the frame rate. You just notice the smoothness.
Yeah, and that bugs the hell out of me. Like Gage on his TV has like the... I guess it's what I call motion smoothing, where it fills in the frames and everything looks like a soap opera.
Yeah, I saw like a demo TV doing Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, I hate that.
On that mode, and I just felt horrified. It like did not look good.
Well, that's because you're conditioned to accept, 20 frames per second. 24 frames per second,
like
29 frames per second, depending on them.
If it works for movies.
Well, that's because it, the reason why I think film was 24 frames per second, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The reason they chose that, it was the bare minimum they could get away with and still have decent persistence of vision. It was all about economy of, film stock. And it's kind of become this vaulted, golden standard when we could just do better. We could do better, monkey. Do better.
Well, I mean, I could probably tell if something's at a higher frame rate. I'm sure I can. It doesn't like affect me. I'm not like.
Well, obviously it does, because you said when you see the motion smoothing, it turns you off.
Okay, well,
Because you can
yeah,
recognize the higher frame rate. It's just because you are so ingrained to see that as a bad thing, you recoil from it.
I mean, I guess. I mean,
The biggest problem with the higher frame rate, we saw, what was it? I think it was the second part of the Hobbit movie. They showed it in the higher frame rate.
The second one with with Bjorn.
Yeah, and the problem is with the higher frame rate is that it just like, higher resolution also, it shows the kind of cheats they do with VFX.
Yeah, definitely.
So the effects looked worse in the higher frame rate just because they didn't, put the money into making the effects look better at the higher frame rate.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. I've not seen anything with like a higher frame rate that like convinces me like, oh no, this is the preferred way to watch something. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm trying to think. I mean, it's great for live stuff because it definitely gives a more sense of, realness to it. Like, say, sports or just, seeing some high
Fish.
frame rate, not fish.
Nature stuff is what I mean.
I mean, like, something that's being live streamed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like opposed to it. I just, I like
it does, like I said, it does bring problems for, scripted content because that involves more processing and more, editing, more storage for, when you're editing and things like that. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm just used to, with gaming, for a long time I had a 60 hertz monitor. I couldn't go any higher than 60 frames per second. And, when I have a 144 hertz monitor, so theoretically I could do 144 frames per second, but nothing ever hits that high because, I'm bumping up the visual fidelity, but I'm still, in the 80s in a lot of things.
Well, let me ask you this. How did you handle Spider-Verse?
I mean, it was fine. I mean, I just dealt with it. I mean,
okay.
It's not what it was. It didn't upset me, but I would not have complained if there was more frames there.
Like, and I just can't imagine a version of Spider-Verse that like doesn't have that kind of like lower frame rate look, because that's part of like the look of it for me. Like, it looks good that way. Which I
don't know, when something's basically all CG like that, it just bugs me that they they chose to make it look worse.
I get what they're doing, and it doesn't bother me. I see Mike's point of view though, but it makes it look like claymation,
which I like,
and I don't like the low frame rate of claymation either. Just because it looks so choppy and stuttery, it just distracts me.
And see, I like that look. I like that kind of like claymation look to it, like the kind of like marionette kind of like puppet, moving the puppet per frame appearance of that kind of animation. Like, it just, there's something about it that just appeals to me.
Well, for me, it's immersion breaking.
So then you would probably not like the next game on this list, which is a Mixtape from Annapurna Games. They're that film studio that started making games. They did that game Stray, about the cat.
Stray, yeah. I like Stray, the cat game. So
Mixtape is a game that is set in the 90s. That one of the big selling points is like the period accurate soundtrack. It kind of gives me kind of like Life is Strange vibes because it's about like teenagers.
Oh yeah, I'm watching the trailer now and
Yeah. So I don't know if you can handle that. But like it looks like it's fun, and I'm because it's coming to Game Pass. It's one of those where it's like, it's not one that I would.
Here's the problem. I'm watching it, like, all the panning is smooth, but the characters are choppy. I hate that. That's even worse. The disconnect between the characters and the setting. It feels
I'm looking
disjointed.
at the trailer now. And this is actually bugging me. So that's not just you, Mike.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the characters
the
are super
animation-
choppy, but the backgrounds are moving smooth.
Yeah, the animation is just too choppy.
Okay, well,
It's like
take a
more
look
choppy.
Take a look at South
Yeah.
of Midnight. Now I'm kind of curious how you react to that one. 'Cause-
See, I saw this stuff before, and I don't remember it bugging me.
okay. I don't know. It's just it's
Oh,
like a
this is the one
visual
from 11
style I
months ago.
like,
Hang
and
on.
I don't know how to explain it beyond like it makes
No,
me happy.
dude, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with liking it.
No,
There's
no.
nothing wrong with not liking it.
Oh no, it's just it's hard for me to articulate like the appeal. But
Yeah,
it's
see, this is higher. This is still higher frames than what I was just looking at.
yeah.
Like this looks like stop motion. The other one looks like a child stop motion.
Interesting, yeah, because I like the look of both of them. I'd say that like South of Midnight looks better, and I'm
Yes.
sure they're still doing some adjustments on mixtape. But
I do think it's interesting that they basically said, "Hey, what if Louisiana but a video game?"
yeah, what if Louisiana but like deep bayou magic?
So the disconnect is closer here, but it's still the character movements are way choppier than the camera pans.
Mm-hmm.
Like at least in Spider-Verse, everything was the same limited animation.
Right.
Like
She's still kind of choppy
Well,
in gameplay.
no, that's what I'm saying. In the
yeah.
gameplay, but watch the camera pans. Like as the camera moves. Like
No,
when
I
it
gotcha. I
moves
gotcha.
left and right. It's super
I
smooth.
understand.
Whereas, so
That's something that I think they're gonna have to work on in the future. with
it just
games.
makes the character look out of place of the reality of the game.
No, I kind of agree. It still looks amazing. But
I mean, yeah, that's absolutely fair. I'm sure there's still a lot of adjustment to do. If they're gonna stick with that kind of like low frame rate look, I hope they maintain that within the actual like gameplay. You as you said, there's a little bit of it in there in the gameplay, but like with the smooth camera moving and stuff like that, yeah, it feels off.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah. And then the last game I wanted to mention was there's a big fucking Starfield update.
Oh no!
That just came out, and then they've got the expansion coming out.
Oh, tell me about that. What's going on with that?
So the update that just came out is now including like Creator Club mod stuff.
Oh no!
They've added a bunch of stuff regarding that. And this was like a couple of weeks after they added a whole bunch of other stuff, like extra customization of ships and everything like that. Which is all stuff that should have been in the base game. I'm just going to put that out there.
Of course.
Yep.
But the expansion looks wild. Because in Starfield, there's this kind of subplot they set up with House Varun, which is this kind of like cosmic serpent worshipping religion. And you have this really fun like quest that goes on inside their embassy. And they don't really do much with it in the base game, but this expansion is all about that, and it's got some trippy looking shit in it.
Oh yeah.
And one thing that I kind of what bummed me out in Starfield was like 0G like gunfights. There weren't a whole lot of them. There wasn't a whole lot of reason to like either you blow up you shut down the gravity on a person's ship as you raid it and you're floating through their ship or whatever. That's fine. And then there was a space casino where all the gravity had been shut off and you're fighting mercenaries inside the space casino, and that was like the extent of it. Which is like why do you have all these weapons that give you bonuses for space combat? But this
Right.
seems to have a lot of set pieces where you're actually like in the void, like shooting at each other as there's like plasma shit going around. It's very visually interesting. Also, that's the other thing is like Starfield. It was pretty, but not inventive with a lot of the visuals. A lot of the planets aren't super visually interesting. I do applaud the NASA punk style design to stuff, but also
Like that's what you liked, didn't it, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, I did.
Like it just ends up being a little bit samey, but like
Yeah, it's just a very empty universe, which I guess that's, the universe is empty, but I think it needed better discovery ways of like finding stuff, making you walk around big sectors of empty planet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the expansion looks like it's going to come up with some visually interesting stuff. I think the update that I want most for Starfield, I just want them to say, hey, we're doing a patch, we're adding 50 more points of interest to rotate in. Because that was one of my chief complaints when I was playing it, was I would land on this planet and I would see the same fucking research lab.
Oh, yeah.
Exact same layout across like 20 different planets, because it populates these point of interest from a list, and like it's supposed to like not populate them too often, but running into the same layout 3 times as I'm exploring 3 different parts of the planet, it's like so that's the update that I want, and I'm hoping they're going to fit that into the expansion given all the interesting stuff that I've been seeing in the trailer. But yeah, no, those were my little Xbox observations. Like as someone who has that Series X, I was very excited because it's like, oh, I'll be able to play every single one of these. And I think among them, I'll say my top 3 in order would have been Perfect Dark, Indiana Jones, and honestly, South of Midnight. I was very pleased by what I saw of that one. So,
Right.
Anyone who's listening, if you get a chance to check out those trailers, definitely do so. I'd love to hear your thoughts about it on Discord. So, that was how I spent my morning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for the past couple of weeks, I've been kind of going back to some older shows, and I have been rewatching the prequel to Breaking Bad, which is Malcolm in the Middle.
I really thought you were going with Better Call Saul.
Right,
Okay.
right. And, Malcolm in the Middle still holds up.
Yeah, it was a well-made show. It's got one of the Higgins boys in it, which I'm always happy to see.
Mm-hmm. There's some stuff about it that has not aged well. At one point, Lois drops the hard G slur for the Romani.
Well, yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't always, seen as a bad thing to say. So
at one point, I think she calls the boys Aborigines.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like,
well, she's not a likable person necessarily. So
it's funny because like Lois is one of my favorite characters. Like,
oh no, obviously
yeah.
She's a great character, but she's not a great character.
Yeah, no, I get where you're going with that, but yeah, I'm currently
it's
on.
like,
oh yeah.
It's like I love Fred Sanford, but he's a terrible human being.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's the same thing with the cast of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. All those characters.
Oh fuck all
worst
those guys,
people ever,
yeah.
but I love watching them. But
well, suicide is badass.
have only a few years left on this one. I'm gonna get real weird with it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Malcolm in the Middle, like I've really been kind of enjoying it, and it's so weird to watch that now that like Bryan Cranston has become like completely associated with Walter White.
Yes.
Like it's just such a weird thing, and like his range on the show, like he's playing like a bumbling dad, but like he has some serious range on the show as well, and it's like, okay, yeah, no, I see why he works so well for Walter. And you can see little elements like that. There's a lot of scenes with Bryan Cranston in his underwear. There's just something that's inherently funny about that guy in tidy whities.
You know what I liked about the show?
What was that?
One of my favorite bands of all time is They Might Be Giants. And they not only did the theme song, they used several Giant songs throughout the series for incidental music.
Yeah, they were also, I think, music supervisors on the show. So, like, they actually came up with some original stuff, for the show, which was,
well,
yeah.
I know they won an Emmy for best theme. And that was like their first major award, so they've won like several Grammys since then.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a good fucking theme, because every time I start
Yep.
an episode, I always watch the opening credits, and I always sing along to that shit.
Yeah, at the Giants concert where they performed it, they said, this is a song that we recorded for a TV show, and then they wanted a sequel, and then we had to write the rest of the song.
But here's the thing. I know that there's been some issues with like some of the cast not wanting to come back. Like, I know Frankie Muniz is kind of doing his own thing. He's like a race car driver now, which is interesting.
Yeah, he basically left acting altogether.
He also kind of, I guess, had like a disassociative meltdown because of the stress of making the show.
I can imagine.
Yeah, some people have like tried to claim, he has super amnesia or something. When I've read the quotes, and it's just like it just sounds like it was all such a blur to him. Like you can have stretches of your life where you really don't remember much about what you did, like in your job.
The truth?
Yeah,
like I have several jobs,
and that was his fucking childhood.
Yeah, I have several jobs where I can't remember anything about working there other than the fact that I worked there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It does sound like, though, he had like kind of there's some people you hear about sometimes, they just have a like personality shift.
Yeah.
Where they just, things they never liked before, they like now, and the things they used to like, just, they don't.
Yeah.
That kind of sounds like what happened to him.
Well, it's funny because like all three of the younger kids on the show, so Reese, Dewey, and Malcolm, they've all kind of like retired, which I'm like, hey, I'm all for it, but I legitimately feel like they could make a decent Malcolm in the Middle follow-up show.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to see it. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but I would be down for it. Because one of the things, like, do you guys remember how the show ended?
I know.
No.
So you find out that, like, Malcolm's entire family is kind of in on making him miserable, so he works hard in college and, like, becomes president one day. Like that's the whole thing. That's
horrible.
Yeah, no, like that, but their whole thing is, like, no, so that way you can make things better for people like us who need the help. It's a very, so like that's the whole thing. Like the whole family is in on. There's like this really kind of like haunting, weird scene at the end where like everybody's like, oh yeah, no, this has been the plan the whole time for you. And it's legitimately like one of those weirdo out there endings that totally puts everything else in the show in context, because every time like something happens in the earlier seasons, if you know the ending, it's like, well, okay, this is part of that whole scheme. Like, I know that it wasn't planned that way, but it was so well conceived at the end there that it's like, oh, okay, no, that makes absolute sense. Why they're putting him in this situation and everything like that. And I was thinking about, like, well, what is a future Malcolm in the Middle gonna look like? And I thought, like, did you guys ever see the show Veep?
No.
I'm aware of it. That was Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
Yeah,
right?
like I kind of want to see Malcolm in like a low-ranking government position, because this seems like that's a step in his journey that they were setting him up for in the show, and I would love to see something like that. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but like I would be down for it because I'm having a blast. I'm on the 5th and final season of the show right now in my rewatch, and it still holds up, man. I gotta hand it to him. Like, it isn't just like nostalgia of like, oh no, it was a great show for its time. It is still legitimately excellent. There's still scenes where I'm just like, oh my god, that's the funniest fucking thing. So, if you get a chance to rewatch it, give it a try, because
Wasn't Joel Hodgson in there sometimes?
I don't remember him being in there. I haven't seen him in it, no.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah, but, yeah, no, I definitely recommend, like, rewatching some of the episodes. I, like, specifically, the one where it's the boys go on the bowling date, and it's the two timelines, the one version where Lois takes them, and one version where Hal takes them.
I remember that.
That was, like, a groundbreaking episode. And then I think my favorite one is the one where Reese takes his driver's test and he leads the cops on a chase. And then he gets back onto the driving course, and you've got this chain of cop cars following him through the test course, through the cones and shit like that. And
that's funny.
Yeah, and it's to I think it's like Sum 41, one of their songs and shit like that. Because that was the other thing, that show did a really good job of like, it's a great time capsule for music.
Yeah.
Yeah, beyond the They Might Be Giants stuff, which is all excellent.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But like just the... Oh man! And then when Hal makes his poker friends, all the black guys, and Hal's like the one white guy there.
Oh god!
Yes, so good, so good. So yeah,
do you remember the episode where he was bowling a perfect game?
That was the bowling episode, the bowling game.
Yes, I freaking adore that whole thing.
Yeah,
yes.
Absolutely. So at least rewatch that bowling episode because that one is fucking funny.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. So that's what I've got. That's what I distracted myself with. Like I have other stuff I could talk about, but I've been talking for 40 minutes now. Fuck. Right. So,
no, it's cool, dude.
No.
You had a lot to say. You had a lot you were interested in this week, and we have thoughts on animation apparently.
Yeah. So with and that was a fun conversation right there about like frame rates and stuff like that. Because
yeah.
So. Let's see. I have Mike next on my list. So, Mike, what do you got?
So, I don't have a whole lot. I haven't played any games this last couple of weeks.
How dare you?
Really haven't watched. I don't know. I just have cycles. So, okay. I played a little bit of Power Wash Simulator, but that was about it.
Well, that's not really a game. That's like meditation.
There's a new expansion coming out. Where you go to Wonderland and you have to clean stuff from Alice in Wonderland.
Like is it licensed Alice in Wonderland from Disney or just like a...
No, okay. It's going to be generic.
No. Okay. It is insane.
Public domain.
It's very... You just drop 2 tabs of acid and this is what happened.
Hell yeah.
But mostly what I've been doing in my time off from the jobby job is watching anime.
Mm-hmm.
So I finished... the second season of that, what's it called? It's like called, I was kicked out of the main hero's the hero's party, and I want to live a quiet life in the countryside or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Finished the second season of that. It's pretty good. It's definitely I wouldn't exactly say lower stakes. But it's basically, fairly laid back. Like you're not getting, life and death stuff all the time, even though there is, conflict and things.
Yeah.
Just because.
Sorry, my bad.
Just because of, not being in the hero's party. It's weird. He leaves the hero's party, but then like everybody wants to come and live with him in the countryside. And he ends up like, proposing to his like girlfriend who was also from the hero's party at one point. And like all the other people showed up and, his sister's the big hero and she decides, oh, fuck it. I don't want to be the hero anymore anyway. I'm just going to live here in the town with my brother. And, so there's a new hero. And the second season, there's a new hero chosen by the, divine or whatever. And he's a super jerk. Like, not in a, he's doing bad things for the right reason. Basically, it ends justify the means kind of, I'm the hero and, if someone dies, it was, God's will because I'm an instrument of God.
Kind of like the bow hero in Rise of the Shield Hero. Okay.
Maybe. I haven't seen that yet. But yeah, so that's basically the crux of the second season's conflict is this new hero who, inevitably is going to butt heads with the old hero because, they run in the same circles or, did. And comedy ensues.
Well, until he has a change of heart and then he lives on that hero's fiefdom. like that?
Well, no, he doesn't give up being the hero, but he does learn things because the main character, Gideon / Red, his like God-given purpose is to be the guide for the hero. So even though this isn't his hero, he's still a guide. And, when the hero shows up, he's like, be like, bitch, you're fucking up. You need to do better.
Monkey, do better.
So that was fun. Then continue to watch Dungeon Meshi, which I think there's only one episode left now. Episode 23 just came out, and it's a 24 episode season. So I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah, we're caught up on it, and like it's been nice because we were originally like pairing Frieren and Dungeon Meshi, and then Frieren ended. So then I started Holly on Spy Family. We went through both seasons of that, and now we're down to just Dungeon Meshi.
Yep. So yeah, I've just been enjoying that. I really like the kind of thing that happened in the most recent episode. That was funny. And as if the internet already didn't want to fuck Senshi enough, they went and made him Bishi.
Well, no, here's the thing. Senshi. Like, I think people legitimately find like dwarf Senshi hot enough. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying they just, I mean, they didn't do it on purpose because this manga's been out for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. And then I've also mainlined. It's also only got a couple of episodes left, but Yuritsu Yatsura Season 2.
And now, is that the new one?
The new one, yes. I've never seen the original, but this is the 2022. The first season was 2022.
Okay.
It lives up to its aim. It is totally insane.
And that's Rumiko Takashi, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Same person that did Ranma 1/2.
Yeah.
And Kimiguri Orange Road.
And Inuyasha.
I need to watch that.
Was Kimiguri Orange Road also?
Yeah.
Her? Mm-hmm. Okay, just making sure I wasn't talking out my ass.
Very prolific.
Yeah. It's one of those that's on my list.
Yeah, all her stuff was, 80s.
Yeah.
Came out in the 70s and 80s.
Defined 80s anime.
Yeah, and
does
manga.
it still kind of have that look, or did they update the look?
The look is like, well, yeah, it's the same, but like
the character designs are exactly what you remember from the manga.
But the animation is just so decadent.
Yes,
like the colors and just like the depth, and like Lum's hair alone is like,
it's almost Technicolor vomit.
Yes, it is. Just the coloring and everything. And there's even like homages to the manga, because characters in the background that aren't like animated or aren't necessary, they'll be like half-toned.
Oh,
just
I
kind
gotta
of like
watch for that.
Gray, or sometimes like other colored half-tones, just to be there in the background.
Here's the thing. I tried to start watching it, but the intro was so decadent, it overloaded me, and I couldn't finish it.
The intros are just if the animation in the episode is, just intense, the intro animations are just like psychotic.
Yeah, no, it's like it's again, a couple tabs of acid. Here's your intro.
And it's so subtle that, you don't pick up on it, but it is, a period piece. It is set in the basically late 70s, early 80s, technologically.
Oh, that's awesome.
But you just little hints of it, because you realize, oh, nobody's using a cell phone. Oh, they have, old tube TVs with, antenna on them. But in the very first intro OP, they kind of like had the characters in modern times, like with, cell phones, and dressed kind of more modern. Mm-hmm. And yeah, but no, I don't know. I want more, stuff like this. I know not everything needs to be, redone and reimagined, but, having watched all of Ranma 1/2, I could be behind, a
them doing
renaissance,
the same thing.
of Ranma like this, especially ones where they the animated series ended before the manga and therefore tied things up in a different way. Like the Ranma 1/2 anime just kind of ended. Like it basically they just never went to another season. I mean, it was episodic, so there was no like overarching plot lines that were dropped, other than the fact that I don't think he ever even got cured in the manga either.
I know in the manga it can't to a point where he could like separate
or not
the girl
can.
and the boy.
I think he like got separated. Like it was one of those things that
I know part of the deal was there was a plot where he started dating himself because it's Ranma.
See, that would be great.
Yes.
That plus more. Maybe that's what they'll do after Yuritsu Yatsura
That would be
makes its
nice,
run.
because I would actually really like that, because I liked Ranma. So.
Yeah. God, and Ranma and Ataru couldn't be two different characters. Like,
yeah,
Ataru is just
he's awful.
He is terrible. I mean, he starts to get a little redeeming qualities, but it's like
he is literally the worst.
Yeah, he's just like skirt chasing all the time. It's like he is like, there's no other anime main character like him ever since. Like, I think Ranma, created the mold for anime main characters, and Ataru, everybody was like, no, we're not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Like, secondary characters will be like him.
Yeah.
Villains can be like him, but, not
You
never a
can't
main
do
character.
this again.
But kind of like Sanji in One Piece. That's kind of in that mold.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Not quite, because he's not that redeemable.
When you have Lum, a cute girl in a tiger print bikini, like trying to cling on to you, and you're just like running up to other girls asking for their phone numbers,
you're an idiot.
You're an idiot.
Oh, okay, that's
I mean,
fair.
admittedly,
the whole joke with Sanji is he doesn't really get anybody. So
yeah.
Okay.
Admittedly, there would be conflict if he would like, oh yeah, hey babe, but
okay,
it's still you're sitting there going, you fucking moron.
Yep.
And other than, let's see here, was there something else I watched? No, that was it. That was those three. Yeah, it was the fantasy one, the Dungeon Meshi, and the Yuritsu Yatsura.
So what's next on your list then? Like, once you're...
I don't know. I mean, like I said, they're both rapidly approaching. By this Friday, Dungeon Meshi will be over, and I think I'll only have like 1 or 2 episodes of Yuritsu Yatsura. So I'll have to find something else. And I don't really have a.
Didn't they do a new version of Spice and Wolf?
Yeah, I need to look into that.
Yeah. Or coming out.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
I really need to find something that's like pretty much done for a couple of seasons.
Honestly, I'm gonna pitch try Shield Hero.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
very curious. I'm very curious what you think about that one.
Yeah, I have a My Anime listing of shows that I need to get to at some point.
You can also do the vending machine one that I mentioned.
That's on the list too.
Okay, all right. So, you got anything else that you've been distracting yourself with, or are you just like anime?
Like
boy?
I said, not really. I got a new bed, and that's been helping with my weird neck tension headaches I've been having.
Oh, dude, a new bed would be a game changer. Oh my god!
And it wasn't really that. Like I'm pretty broke at the moment, so I had to go with the cheapest or some of the cheapest stuff I could find. So there was I found a mattress on Amazon, a full foam mattress. It was when I bought it, it was $350, but it's been on sale for $300 and less the last couple of weeks. Of course, 2 days after I buy it. And then I needed also, since my bed was a more traditional bed frame, I needed a new frame too. So it was all like right out the door. It was like $400, which is a good bit, but it's way better than what I thought I was going to have to spend, like $1,000 for, a bed and frame.
Yeah, when you got to sign a lease for a mattress, that's like...
Yeah, no, that's banana boats. Yeah. And understand, you spend like a third of your life in bed. So it is a good investment, unless you're spending banana crazy amounts of money.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a good investment. But I mean, just in this, where I am in life, if this one a good bed should last you, they say, like 10 years or so. If this one lasts me 5 years, I think I will get my money's worth out of it.
And that's completely fair. Like I'm legitimately happy you have a new mattress, because that shit makes a difference. It really does.
Yeah, and the one I've had it for, God, when did I live in those apartments? That was so I've had this bed, the previous bed. It's gone now, thankfully. It's out of my life. We put it on the street, and the garbage men took it away, so it's gone forever. But I had it for at least 10 years, if not more. And it was already used when I got it. So who knows how old this fucking thing was? It was literally falling apart. Damn. Like I had it flipped. There was like one section there's one like side and half of the bed I could sleep on that wasn't like springs poking out.
Jesus Christ.
And the box spring was also the same. So yeah, it was well past time, but it's one of those things that you just get used to. It's you put your blinders on and don't notice, like, hey, I'm, sleeping on actual trash. So yeah, I'm glad for that. And I'm getting used to the memory foam. The memory foam's weird. Like, do you have a memory foam mattress, David?
I have like a memory foam like topper that goes on the mattress,
but not a whole mattress. A solid memory foam mattress, I was not used to it. Like, when I sit down on it, it just like doesn't move. Like, I move down vertically, but there's no like side to side movement.
It's like quicksand. Just
yeah. When I roll over, like, the whole bed doesn't move around like I'm used to. Even though the mattress itself and the bed itself is probably lighter than my old bed, but it just doesn't move. It's just kind of, it feels, I don't want to say dead, but it's just weird. It's been kind of an adjustment period.
Well, and I mean, with the old mattress, like, I'm sure it like creaked and like every little movement. No. So just something that doesn't have like busted connections and springs in it.
Like, it's just dead silent. Like, I roll over and like don't hear. It wasn't loud. The old bed wasn't loud, but you'd still hear.
Yeah.
So yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, no, that's legitimately interesting.
And another benefit is, since the new bed has a higher platform, I could actually store stuff under it. Oh. And so my room is now clean.
Hell yeah.
For the first time in like 2 years.
And by clean, you mean shit's just kind of shoved under it, but...
Well, no, I organized things too. I took the time and like filled up a couple of trash bags of all the literal garbage I didn't need anymore. Put things into like boxes and crates that slid under there and kind of organized it and sorted it. So
there you go.
It was kind of a, I wouldn't say Marie Kondo, but it was very close to that. It was a process, and now I just need to do it to the rest of my belongings.
Yep. There you go. Well, I'm proud of you. I'm glad you got a new mattress. I'm glad that you've got a bunch of anime you're watching. I'm glad for all of us. I really am.
Yes.
With
Mouth that only play some damn video games.
Yeah, that's for next week. So let's go ahead and take a break, and then when we come back, we will hear from Kevin.
Oh, thank God! I got to poop.
That's
Are you serious?
The audio.
Yeah, just for a second.
Oh, okay. So a longer break than normal.
Not that long.
A little longer.
We'll be back. Hi everyone, this is Kevin from Supernatural Selection. Are you an independent creator? Do you have a webcomic or an Etsy store? Do you 3D print things? Or are you just looking to get some word out for your Discordian cabal with social terrorism? Well, we'd love to help. And David, I believe you've got some details about how we can help.
Why, certainly. If you go to supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, that is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact, you can learn how to advertise with us.
That's right. I believe the rate is $2 per episode. You can't beat that with a stick.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, we've tried.
Yeah, that's cheap. That's literally cheaper than dirt.
And best of all, if you're not sure how to write an ad, we'll do it for you. We'll even record it.
Absolutely. Just let us know what you need in the ad, and we'll be happy to do that for you.
And again, that URL is supernaturalselectionpod.com/contact.
And now, back to the show.
And we are back. And Kevin, what have you got going on?
Well, after I got done pooping.
Jesus Christ.
Well, first off, I need to say that it's been very difficult to distract myself this week because I was working on that god-awful episode of Supernat that we just did. Which, if you're a fan of the show, you've already heard it. Holy God. I honestly thought it was going to be 2.5 hours, but I managed to keep it under. But after that, to cleanse, I started rereading The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series by Douglas Adams. And I am on Restaurant at the End of the Universe right now. They're at the Restaurant at the End of the Universe. And that is probably the one thing about the movie, not doing well and not getting a sequel that I'm going to miss, is we're never going to get the restaurant.
I thought the movie was pretty good.
It was fine.
Yeah.
It just didn't do well, and there's a lot of stuff where it's like you didn't have to change some of this dialogue. Douglas was a fucking genius.
Well,
But
wasn't he involved with the production of the movie?
he was dead.
He was dead at that point?
Oh yeah, he'd been dead. They didn't actually start making the movie till after he died.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They used one gag that he put in an early draft of the script, which was the blame thrower. It's called the point of view gun, but everybody behind the scenes, Douglas's original name for it was the blame thrower, which is fucking brilliant. But no, I hate that we're never gonna see Millie Ways, the Restaurant at the End of the Universe, on film. The actual universe ending while everyone just has a giant fucking raging dinner party.
Do you think we'll ever get another adaptation of Hitchhikers to some degree?
Probably.
They are currently, I don't know what the stance is, but there's a couple of guys working on a series for Hulu that is, again, updated to modern times, but is supposed to be more faithful, so it'll never happen. Because that's Hitchhikers in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well, one thing I appreciate about Hitchhikers is like all different flavors of the same thing. Like, I love the original television adaptation.
You should hear the radio show.
Yeah,
the original radio show. It is.
I want to hear the radio show for sure.
There's one part where there's this, and spoilers, there's this part where Arthur is on, I think it's Frogstar World B, and the bird people are there. And they saw a vision of Arthur turning against the Nutramatic machine and throwing the cup down. So they had built a, mile-high statue of Arthur casting defiance to the machines. And the cup is hovering in midair between the ground and his hand, and it's held up by art. And I'm like, that's what I come to the Hitchhiker's Guide for, is shit like that. Every version of it is different enough that you're gonna get a different thing every single time.
Now, did you ever watch the adaptation of Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency?
Here's the problem. I still haven't read Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency. I've been meaning to since I was in high school, but it's been up until, modern days. It was hard for me to find a copy. So I need to get a copy on my Kindle and read it. And I'm sure I can get a copy.
I'm sure Mike knows a way.
We got a friend that's got... Anyway, we're not going to go into that.
Because I watched that first season of... I think it was the only season of Dirk Gently.
The one with Elijah Wood?
Yeah, and it also had Fiona Dourif. And I think that's when
Yes.
I think that's when I first developed my crush on Fiona Dourif.
Right. Understandable.
Yeah. But no, like it was legitimately like a lot of fun. So I would love to like. So number one, you'll have to read the books, but I think you can just dive into the TV show and see what you think because it definitely it felt like Douglas Adams. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel
Wasn't
like
there
you
like
could,
a holistic assassin in the show?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. So like I feel like you could use a little dose of that. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So I definitely recommend it. Like I enjoyed that first season. I don't know if they made a second one. I think it was too weird for people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there was also an actual BBC series that ran for like 2 seasons. That was a different show entirely. So that's something you can look for.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. It's not as good from what I've heard. It tries to be faithful and screws it up, but you know, it's always worth checking out an Adams adaptation in my mind. But yeah, it's just good to read because it also makes me go, you know what, I can do anything I freaking want in my properties because of this. It doesn't matter. I can do anything.
Yeah.
As long as it's fun, that's all that matters. And Mike actually introduced me to the guide way back in high school, so...
Yeah, because I got it from my my uncle.
Yep.
Because I remember watching on like public television in Louisiana. I've seen some episodes of the BBC show, and I was like, when I moved here, we stayed with my grandma, and I have an uncle that's less than a year older than me, so we're of the same age and went to high school together, and
I knew his uncle first.
yeah, he had some books like his sister, my aunt, would always send him books. She was kind of a big, reading person, so she'd like send him books and all kinds of stuff, and he just had books everywhere, and some of them was The Hitchhiker's Guide. I was going, oh, this sounds familiar, and so I started reading them, and I was like, hey Kevin, you should read this.
And nothing was ever the same.
Yeah.
Now, he also had the computer game.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
yeah, he had the for the the Apple II.
Yeah, the Infograms game.
Infograms game that came with all kinds of like little things, like a plastic bag that had a kind of peg hanger thing on it that said microscopic
Space Fleet.
Space Fleet, yeah, and all kinds of the peril sensitive sunglasses, which were just black cardboard sunglasses.
It said to see your score, put on your peril sensitive sunglasses now, and it was just jet black.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember. So, like, I knew about Hitchhikers from my mother, but like, I never got a copy of the book from her. Like, the first time I ever read the book, I think it was in middle school. I was doing a teacher's assistant thing for a third or fourth grade class, and one of the instructors was British. Like, she was a British expat.
Okay.
I babysit her kid a few times, but she had like she had a whole bunch of like British comics. So like she had like Beano and like the British Dennis the Menace.
Which is insane. They both came out the same year.
Yeah, so it was one of those things where it's like I'd help out with the kids and everything like that, but when she was doing a lesson, there wasn't anything for me to do. I'd sit there reading all these British comics and stuff like that. But also, she had a copy of Hitchhiker's Guide that she let me borrow, and that was my first experience reading it. And then I ended up seeing the television adaptation, the original BBC version of it.
Yes.
But yeah, like I had actually received it from an actual honest-to-goodness British person.
That's awesome.
Neat.
Yeah, it was pretty dope.
So some of the other things that came in that computer game package.
Didn't it come with fluff?
Yeah, it came with what was that, belly button lint or something
No, it was
like that?
pocket
fluff. That's right. A don't panic button. Obviously the diskette, but it came with two pieces of paper. One of them, the order for demolition for Arthur's house, and the other one in Vogon, the order of demolition for the Earth.
They really went all out on that game because
on
Adams
computer
was,
games in general,
Yeah.
but yes.
Douglas Adams was personally involved with that game and like wrote a lot of it, like not the programming, but the actual game itself.
Oh yeah, the
So,
script.
Yeah, I just friggin' love the concept. I've tried to play it because it's available online somewhere. You can play
Probably
it.
DOS box
in,
it.
Yeah, or like I think it's running in Java on some website, and it is fucking impossible.
Yeah,
Like I can't get out of the house.
Those text-based adventure games were really something else.
You know what I'm going to put out there? I think we should get together on like a Friday night or something. Like
you
like
basically
live
wanna
stream
do it-
us playing it together.
You basically want to do a Twitch stream.
Yeah, I want to do a Twitch stream of us going through the
Sure, why
Hitchhiker's
not?
Guide.
Oh god,
the
that
funny-
would be fun.
So the
actually.
funny thing is, he had this game, and the other game I can remember that was exactly the same. I think it was also an Infocom
I
game.
know what this is.
Was the Leather Goddess of Phobos, which is a text-based game that is very adult.
Not for children of Mike's age.
Yes. Well, I mean, come on. I was 14. I needed to know all about kinky, leather goddesses, and
Well, I'm going to blow your mind because if you put the number 3, it looks like a sideways pair of boobs.
Oh my
man.
god, dude.
Yeah.
That's
So
insane.
I'm going to be so turned on now every time I see numbers.
I've
Just wait till you
already
see what I
spurred it.
do. Just wait till you see what I do with a couple parentheses and a period.
Oh my god.
Jeez.
So here's the thing about Hitchhikers. I really feel like there's certain things that like change the trajectory of how I think and write. Mm-hmm. And like two of the biggest things, of course, were Mystery Science Theater 3000 and then The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the two biggest things.
Like, I recognize that in you
Oh,
very
yeah.
plain as day.
Yeah, definitely. It's once you know, you're like, oh, of course.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So he watched he watched Mr. Science Theater. He read Hitchhiker's Guide, and he listened to They Might Be Giants. Yep, that's his personality.
Yep. That's everything wrong with this guy. Okay, we've got that settled. Good.
Yeah, if I tell you, like, oh yeah, I grew up watching horror films, grew up watching Chucky, was a favorite character of mine, like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, no shit, huh? That's interesting. Real quick, I found out something while we were on our little break there. There's a game you didn't mention that they have a new trailer out, and that's the new Fable game.
Oh yeah, well, I wasn't super, like, when Fable came out, I didn't have an Xbox at the time, so
sure,
I'm curious about it for sure.
This is a funnier version of Fable. It's kind of like, what's his name, Richard Ayoade from the IT crowd in it. So it's definitely a new thing. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Let me think. What else have I been doing this week? There was Hitchhikers. Was that? Oh, so earlier today, still doing the radio thing, the shortwave. I'm like, well, sun's down. Let's see what I can pick up from further away. And I'm on like the second shortwave band, somewhere around 6.1 megahertz. And I found NHK.
Oh, okay.
Like the Japanese radio station.
Yeah.
I listened to a Japanese radio drama. I have no idea what they said, but, it's like, some dude talking and you hear...
I was going to say, this isn't like Radio Cuba where it's all in English.
No. And Radio Cuba wasn't always in English.
Well, I mean, not all, but
Yeah.
they had English programming
Yeah, but like,
for the propaganda.
I hear some dude talking and I hear, slam. Konnichiwa! And I'm like, okay, this is it, man. This is definitely NHK. Oh, this is awesome. And then I'm going through and I'm like, more doomsday preachers. Fantastic. And then somebody had like an ad for dick pills. So
like, say you were trapped in your car for 24 hours, and you had access to that radio. and you could only
Right.
listen to one station, what station would it be then?
Is it gotta be
Well,
shortwave?
Yeah, it's got to be shortwave. Like, well, let's
Shit.
say you were out trying to find like a number station and triangulate it, and then you get lost.
Oh God, I don't know, man. Because like, they don't all. You can't get them all the time, and like most of them are just someone talking like this about the Bible for a full 45 minutes, and then some music and the same thing.
Now, see, I was gonna say NHK because then you could just
Yeah.
Mystery Science Theater that shit.
Yeah, no, that too. But I don't know. I found some weird ass shit on AM today too. I was like, dude, why the hell is there a Spanish language? This isn't in our channel list for this station. There's a Spanish language station I was picking up. I feel like there's a lot of flamethrower stations in Mexico.
Well,
Which-
what do you mean by flamethrower stations?
Flamethrower station is like super high powerful broadcast antenna that like goes all over the goddamn band, and you can pick it up anywhere.
You
Yeah,
think it's
just
like
about-
cartel shit.
No, it's an actual radio station because, like, one of the ones I found, the one I found on AM was just a football game.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, no, like back in the day, really powerful radio station used to be like 100.5, the 100,000-watt flamethrower.
Oh yeah, like 99 Jams here in town at least used to have the most powerful transmitter in the state. And like you'd be listening to a station and drive near their radio station, and it would just bleed through whatever you were listening to. So, yeah, flamethrower is a hell of a thing.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of that before. That's cool.
Yeah, and Mike, you were saying there was one like coming out of like Arkansas that like you could pick up in Japan.
Yeah, it was something I came across on Facebook, and I neglected to like break it out, so it's lost to the ether. You can never re-find an article or anything you find on Facebook.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was saying there was an Arkansas religious station that I think was an AM station that was in the like 50s and 60s that could be reliably picked up on the other side of the planet, like
Yeah.
at night,
Jesus
at certain
Christ.
times. Like
Yeah, dude.
people in like Korea and other countries could pick it up. At the obviously atmospheric conditions played a big role in it, but yeah, at the right time you could get this station.
Yeah.
And it was, for a while there, it was one of the most powerful transmitters in the United States. Legal transmitters.
Yeah. That's the important thing. Legal transmitters.
Yeah.
So
So are you picking up like illegal broadcast as well?
not. Here's the thing. I don't know because the illegal ones on shortwave, you're supposed to use sideband if you're a ham radio operator. But I did find someone broadcasting Morse code,
Ooh.
which you're not supposed to do on shortwave radio.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be on the sideband. So technically, that's an illegal radio station.
Like, if you hear that again, like, write down that code and translate it. I'm dying to know.
Dude, I can't even decipher which one's a dot and which one's a dash. I'm awful with this stuff. I'm sitting there listening to it, and I turn to Dusty. I'm like, you don't know Morse code, do you? And she's like, why would I know Morse code? But that used to be a requirement in Mississippi for getting your ham radio license.
Well,
Was you had to like.
It was an FCC requirement.
Oh yeah,
not
you
just
had to
Mississippi.
learn Morse code to
But-
get your ham
and
radio
you
license.
still do to get the real ham license, but there is a, like, I think they call it a hobbyist license or
where you
something.
can listen but you can't broadcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I don't know. There was that, and I hate to say it, I have not been up to much this week besides reading stuff. Next week, I'm gonna burn that fucking book.
No, remember, we told you it was a stabbing book.
God damn it!
Like, no,
You and your
seriously. it's-
stabbing book.
Like, a stabbing book lasts longer than a burning book.
Yeah.
And you're going to need that therapy for a little bit.
That's true. You're not wrong.
You could always like carve out a gun-shaped hole in the pages and put a gun in there for next time.
It's not thick enough.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
So you can't do like cartoony.
Yeah, we're getting into Robert Evans territory here, aren't we? But I don't know. I'll just get the book hollowed out and put a machete in there. How's that?
Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Oh boy. Oh crap! Doctor Who. I wanted to talk about Doctor Who. That's right.
Yeah.
The new episode of Doctor Who. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That was the gayest episode they have ever done, and I mean that in a good way.
I fucking loved it.
I mean, and it's funny how much the new Doctor is a little bit of Captain Jack Harkness.
And then, like, Rogue. Like,
oh,
what
man.
a charming
and a
guy.
D&D nerd to boot. Ah, man. And, okay, you know why the episode was completely worth it, Mike? Because the Doctor's wearing, like, it's Regency period England.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're wearing, like, the waistcoats and, you know, the tight-ass pants, and they got, like, the little ponytails with a bow on them, you know, and stuff. He shows Rogue the TARDIS, and he's like, I've seen a shed before, but he opens the door, goes in, and you just hear him go echoing, "Oh my God!" And the Doctor just starts quietly singing "In a World of Pure Imagination" from Willy Wonka, and it was fucking perfect.
Like, that episode, like, this whole season has just been a delight for me. But
Yeah.
two things I wanted to mention.
Okay.
That scene where the Doctor is in that binding thing, and he starts fucking with the sonic screwdriver, and he starts playing Kylie and dancing.
Oh,
and, like,
God.
flirting. That was like sexy. That was like,
Yeah. No, that
like,
was straight up.
Like, he fucking rizzed. He fucking rizzed
Yeah,
him.
definitely. I mean, he's like doing this, like, he's giving him the fucking eyes, man.
Yes. Like, even like when you first see Rogue up there in the balcony, it's like, oh no, this is.
Yeah. Well, when the Doctor sees him, he's like, oh dear.
Yeah. The other thing I wanted to talk about, though, was the Richard E. Grant situation.
Dude, okay. So, Mike,
Yeah.
I'm going to school you real quick, all right? You're the audience stand-in if they don't know Doctor Who. So.
Who?
Yes, exactly. So, back before Doctor Who came back in 05, it was around 03, 04, they did a series of animated Doctor Who on, I guess it was on the BBC website. It was like flash animated stuff. It's called Scream of the Shalka, and it was Richard E. Grant voicing the Doctor. And it was supposed to be, at the time, the official continuation of Doctor Who. This is the official 9th Doctor. Because we're never bringing it back to TV. So a year later, they announced they're bringing it back to TV.
Of course.
And it's decanonized. And the 9th Doctor is, of course, Christopher Eccleston, who is still one of my favorite Doctors ever. So in this episode, the Doctor's trapped in this little thing that makes your feet stuck to the floor, and then turns into a portal that drops you into a fucking incinerator.
Yeah, and the Doctor every Doctor has their "I've had many faces" moment.
Yes, and he thinks the Doctor is a shapeshifter, and when it pulls up his previous face, David Tennant, he's like, shapeshifter, and the Doctor explains, I am a Lord of Time from the lost planet of Gallifrey, and I'm more powerful and older than you can imagine, and all of his previous faces in holographic form are spinning around him like some kind of nerd constellation thing. And, it's all the Doctors we know. It's the Renegade Doctor from Jodie Whittaker's era as well. And Richard E. Grant's head is there, Mike.
Okay.
Now, Richard E. Grant, did you ever see Loki season 1?
Yeah.
He played old Loki.
Yeah.
He was comic book accurate Loki. And, Mike, they canonized that decanonized cartoon.
Okay.
Which What the fuck?
It's like a really weird thing, but here's my theory. Since we had that split between 14 and 15...
That's what everyone's thinking is it caused a previous bi-generation to split
like
off.
McGann's doctor probably split and did like a split generation between Grant and Eccleston.
The war doctor.
Yeah, I don't know. It's super interesting. Like, I think they're also kind of getting away from like a hard number kind of thing.
They definitely are. Of course, here's the thing. Being the timeless child, I think that's a gift because it means he technically never had a regeneration limit.
Mm-hmm. But like what I'm hoping for is that we actually eventually get like Richard E. Grant showing up in the show as like that gothy Ninth Doctor.
Which would be funny considering he played the Great Intelligence already on there.
Mm-hmm. And that's perfectly fine because...
he also played the Doctor in the Curse of Fatal Death Red Nose Day special. So.
Oh, no, that was Rowan Atkinson.
Well, no, he regenerated... Oh, wait, no. Yeah, no, he regenerated in that multiple times, and one of the regenerations was into Richard E. Grant, and then Hugh Grant, and then, like,
that's right.
Joanna Lumley.
Now, see, I want them to make Rowan Atkinson's Doctor canon as well. Like, I want that to just... If you're going to throw in Richard E. Grant, let's go ahead and throw in Rowan Atkinson. I wouldn't bat an eye at that. I'd be like, no, go for it.
Sure. No, why not? Fuck it.
But, like...
throw it all to the wind.
Like, and I don't want to dwell on this too long because I'm sure Mike's feeling a little left out here, but, like...
No, it's fine.
It's such a weird canon-altering thing to just throw in there, and if you know, and you're like, holy fuck.
It's such a showrunner flex, too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Here's the other thing, though, about this episode, not related to that, that I fucking adore, is this felt more like the Russell T. Davies' previous run than any other episode they've done.
Yeah, like, I appreciate how different this season has been, but this feels like most closely aligned to that kind of rebirth of Doctor Who.
Yeah, it was just a monster of the week.
It even had the fucking, like, okay, we're going to run sequence holding hands, but it was this time, it was the Doctor who had his hand held and was being pulled along by Rogue.
Yeah.
And, like, I cannot tell you how badly I want a season of the Doctor and Rogue traveling the stars together. Like, if we don't get that, I'm going to fucking riot, dude. Like, no, there's just something about these two. Like, the fucking chemistry between them.
No, they got fucking... Yeah, no, it's like, dripping with chemistry and bodily
Jonathan
fluids.
Groff, fantastic actor, because he was also the lead in Mindhunter, which I'm still obsessed with, and I want that third fucking season.
Again, Mike, I need to see season 2 of Mindhunter. Which I didn't even realize that was him, dude.
Mm-hmm. Oh, he also was the King of England in Hamilton for a while.
I didn't see Hamilton, but
yeah, if you watch the recorded version on Disney Plus, they got him back to do the yeah.
Well, here's something else about this episode. Good God, what was I going to say? My brains. Good episode.
Right? No, I mean that's kind of it, right? Like this is the most classic episode that they've done this season, and it just
it was heartbreaking too.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Fucking heartbreaking, and I'm here for it. This is the kind of Doctor Who I want.
And we got that really beautiful, like all like last week's ending with the racism thing, the racism.
Oh God,
thing.
Yeah,
that was heartbreaking.
Up.
That was heartbreaking too.
Yeah,
but like the moment of like the Doctor being vulnerable, because he's been very vulnerable this season, but him just like, no, I've got to keep going, and then just
and
like,
then
shut
Ruby
up and
stops him.
Yeah.
You know what I liked about that? Is he was obviously starting to pull some David Tennant mopey shit, and she was like, no, you're feeling this. So it was really nice to see that happen.
And I'm really excited about the preview for next week.
Oh yeah, we're finally getting the Susan Flood shit figured out, because that's the actress's name, it turns out.
Susan Twist is the actress.
Susan Twist, sorry. Flood's the other lady. Susan Twist.
But we're also getting, what's the name of the organization? Unit.
Oh, Unit. Yeah, Unit and Mel and Rose is supposed to be in this one as well.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to kind of see some, because we had that little bit of unit in 73 yards, which was fun, and it was the way they used it was also really effective because like, oh shit, even units like out of the game here. Yeah,
yeah. I do like units also. Like, yeah, we don't know why Magic's here now, but now we got to deal with it, so we're training.
Yeah, just fun fucking season. Like I can't praise this season enough, and I'm dying to see this next episode because they've been seeding this woman showing up everywhere.
Yeah, it's like in every episode they start to go, I've seen you before, and now they're like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, I think my favorite instance of that was in the one last week where they're on the video
Dot
call.
and Bubble? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh, they literally have this like little sidebar where they're talking about like, you recognize her? I recognize her.
Yeah, wasn't she she's a nurse. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, fun stuff.
Fun times.
Yeah, really enjoying it. But yeah, I did like Rogue Spaceship too.
Yeah. Like again, like
it's a bird. It's a big bird.
A lot of bird imagery, also on the ring.
Yes. I also, man, that how he got the ring, you know.
Oh, my fucking heart melted, dude. I'm like, oh.
And I was like, the doctor ran off. This is not an act right now. This is him going, oh my God, I got the vapors.
Well, and you know, it's been so, like, I think it's because Rogue isn't a companion that I have less issues with the romantic angle here.
I was gonna say, I feel better about the doctor having a love/sex life when it's not someone he's picked up as an adopted child.
Yeah.
You don't want him getting freaky with the hitchhikers.
Yeah, we don't want to. He shouldn't be Woody Allen.
He shouldn't be saying grass, gas, or ass.
Right?
Yes.
Nobody rides for free.
Yeah. Like, if he's a companion, that's, you know, it's a completely
TARDIS
different
has
thing.
a mattress in the back.
Oh, God. You know, my grandpa...
Here's my question. How does River
anyway.
Song feel about all of this?
She did.
Well, I mean, she's not... I mean, she's a time traveler, too, though, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know.
I think...
I kind of want that inevitable, like, Three's Company of River, Rogue, and the Doctor.
I want her to meet this doctor and not know it's him because she's never met anyone past, like, Capaldi.
Which is a good point. That would also be a lot of fun. Yeah, there's so much potential. Like, I've never been more excited about the future of the Doctor.
Yep. Nope. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I've been up to this week, and that's it.
All right. No, I mean, that's plenty. We've got a lot of stuff we talked about, so I think it's time to wrap up with a game. What do you guys think?
Ooh. Mike, you excited for a game?
Okay.
Oh, weren't you complaining about not playing games during your segment?
Yeah,
here I am fixing that for you.
Oh, we're gonna play a video game. Okay, what are we gonna play?
Oh no, it's not a video game.
We're gonna play Ultimate Chicken Horse.
All right, so we're gonna dust off a game that we played a while back. It's the one word at a time story thing, and I think we'll give this a couple of rounds. But how it's gonna work is we got to decide an order, and I think we'll just kind of go with the same order that we had. So me, Mike, Kevin, and we do one word at a time, and we try to tell a story, nothing too long. But, like, for example, I give one word, Mike gives the next word in the sequence, Kevin. So, yeah, just reminding the listeners how it works.
Oh, right. So, sorry, I forgot there's people listening.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just us talking to each other for a couple hours a night. There's actually listeners.
Right.
Okay, so I am going to go ahead and kick us off. So, there
were
many
dogs
and
goats,
but
my
anus
couldn't
handle
all
those
Nacho Belgrandes
in
My.
Sphincter.
Okay. All
Daddy.
right. God damn it. Part of the fun is just seeing who's gonna fuck us up first.
I am so happy.
I was wondering if it was gonna be like my anus couldn't fit all these goats and dogs.
Yeah.
That's where I thought it was going.
Yeah, well, Nacho Bel Grande.
Nacho Bel Grande.
That's how
Okay.
it works.
All right, so all right, Mike. For this round, you'll start.
Who?
Took.
The.
Baloney.
Out.
Of.
My.
Foot Locker.
Because.
I.
Was.
Wanting.
To.
Fuck.
Damn it. That.
Sexy.
Ass.
Baloney. God damn.
I can't help it. You'll keep leaving it open for me.
Okay, well, we'll start you off then. You're starting us off, Kevin.
Once.
David, you're after Kevin.
Oh shit! Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Once.
Upon.
A.
Mattress.
I.
Slept.
With.
The.
Nacho Bel Grande.
And.
It.
Had.
Some.
Extra.
Crumbs.
Stuck.
On.
My.
Dingaling.
All right.
See the dirty
all right.
one.
I think that's good. God damn it.
Yes, good work, improv
Yes.
team.
Yes. Yes,
What a-
and.
When in doubt, throw a dick in.
Yep. Always throw a dick in. I don't know. You said we got to once upon a. I'm like, well, this is definitely a mattress.
All right.
Oh
so,
my god.
all right. I think we're good for this week. You guys feeling pretty good about this one? Any
feel-
last minute
Sure.
thoughts? Anything
I
to
feel
share?
I feel savory goodness.
Is that Nacho Bel Grande?
I would kill for a Nacho Bel Grande right now.
Have you tried the Cheez-It tostada they're doing?
I have not been to Taco
I-
Bell in months because the one we have sucks.
I saw a thing where someone had ordered a Cheez-It tostada with like removed all the toppings, so all they got was a really big Cheez-It.
Jesus Christ.
'Cause
That's
it's
a
like
pro gamer move.
it's like a
That is a
3-inch square Cheez-It.
That's a sin against God.
That's a pro gamer move. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
gotta hand him credit to that one. Like,
That's up there with personal pizza, no everything half beef.
well,
You ever seen that?
if they sold like giant
have.
Cheez-Its, people would buy them.
Like it'd be like the you know how they have mini wheats and you don't think about the normal sized.
Oh yes, I do.
wheats.
The Maxi Wheats.
It's
The Omega
The-
Wheats.
the shredded wheat. Yeah.
The Queen Wheat.
Yes, the queen wheat.
The hot wheat.
I mean,
The Queen Hot Wheat.
if you pour hot milk on it, it'd be hot wheat.
Yeah, man. I
Oh,
haven't had mini
God.
wheats in a while. I love those because they like soak up that milk. And it's like
Just the
like a little-
shredded wheat, right? It's just where
Yeah,
you get,
it's just
you
a
open
brick of wheat.
you open the box and one brick falls out.
Can you imagine if you did that with all food? Like you opened up a can of peas and just one pea came out,
like a
giant pea.
A pea the size of a softball.
Yes, exactly.
A bean, the size of your kidney.
Yeah, it's literally a kidney bean.
Just the biggest kernel of corn you've ever seen.
Yeah, creamed corn is just
one corn.
shit. Yeah, just one
just
creamed
put corn in a blender. Now, if it's the biggest kernel of corn you've ever seen, like when you see it later in the toilet, is it still?
Yes. Oh, obviously.
Okay.
It just goes straight through.
Somehow
it reforms.
You chewed it up. You did not swallow it whole yet. Somehow it is whole in your poop.
It's just a corn kernel the size of a softball.
It is the corn way.
All right. So yeah, any plugs aside from the zine, which you can look up at supernatpod.rocks/zines. We are still taking submissions up through the 30th of this month. We still have room. We've got a number of pages that are ready to go right now. We got plenty of submissions, but we're always looking for more. So,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say, listen to What's It Called with Dave Ross and Caleb Simon.
Yes. And I'm going to throw out a podcast I'm listening to. Hello from the Magic Tavern. I'm re-listening to it.
Hey, I need to do that.
Yeah. That one's been a ton of fun. I'm remembering, man, I listened to a lot of this show when I was in grad school.
Did I tell you they tore down that Burger King?
Oh.
Yeah, the Burger King in Chicago where he was getting the Wi-Fi signal from.
Now
tore
Arnie's
it
never
down.
coming back.
He's fucked, man.
Wow.
I don't know how he's getting Wi-Fi now.
I've been having a blast with it though. It's funny how much I fucking remember from that, because I would listen to that and Comedy Bang Bang as I would drive to and from the university where I was at, because I had an hour drive back and forth and everything like that. So.
Well, I hope Pimbly Nimblebottom poops a ruby in your mouth.
All right,
Mike.
No, I encourage everybody to go and eat a Nacho Bel Grande.
Now, is the Nacho Bel Grande something they're still doing, or is it?
I looked it up. Yes, it is still a menu item. It is not discontinued yet.
Wow.
Okay.
It's hard to say because of all the shit they've stopped making, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like the Mexican pizza went away for a while, but now it's back. Which, wait, isn't a Mexican pizza just a tostada?
Technically.
I guess.
So can't they do the Mexican pizza but on a giant Cheez-It?
Ooh. Why not?
And here's the other question: can't they fold that Cheez-It and do a Cheez-It Locos Taco?
You have to. I guess you'd have to moisten it first.
You know what? I think that'll be our game for next time. Is we're gonna create new Taco Bell items.
Just look at the online menu and come up with stuff they already have there in new and exciting ways.
God, can you imagine what it would be like if Taco Bell did shrimp, just a seasonal shrimp thing?
This is a long outro.
That would be. Look. Marginal shrimp is not something you want to fuck with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I don't know. I'm spoiled by Del Taco.
So my plug is to be sure to go and order the Ava Nacho Bel Grande.
Alrighty.
Oh God.
I think that's it. I'm gonna have to give us a closing thought and a nice positive affirmation.
Yes.
So, sometimes it's worth it to go back and revisit a show that you loved because, hey, it still holds up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with that, we're climbing out of the distraction. We never fell in the first place. We were just kind of already at the bottom.
We're just rimming the hole.
Yeah, we're just kind of we were kind of popping in and out and everything like that. It was we were all
circling the drain.
Yeah, we're turtle heading it the entire time. So.
Yeah. Gross.
That's horrifying metaphors.
just three dudes just popping in and out of the hole there.
It's like
popping in and out of this here hole.
It's like the cluster of Diglets, the evolved form of Diglets. That's 3 heads.
That could be our new logo.
Yeah, it's just yes, that's what we need. You need to draw, cartoonish 3 of our heads just as the Diglets popping out of a hole.
Oh God.
Yeah, might just do that. That could be our first distraction hole.
Yep.
Anyway,
Yeah, I'll
that's it
draw
for the
it. My
distraction
art
hole.
is awesome.
That's it for the distraction hole this week. Hope you all are doing great. Be sure to listen to Supernatural Selection, and we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Problem is, we're like three dudes with beards and glasses. We wouldn't be able to tell who's who.
Fart.
So just like a done trio.
Yep. Exactly.